Hi everyone, it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing a project for Birch Press Designs. I'm using this stamp set called Crystal Lingo. Crystal Lingo. I'm just showing you here that there are dies that you can get for it, and you can cut out the large sentiments and the heart. I'm also using some watercolor paper by Open Studio. It's this really thick pieces of watercolor paper. They are 4.5 by 5 3/4 inches, so just slightly larger than an A2 card front, and you can trim them down. Here I am stamping the diamond stripped image, kind of stained glass looking, very cool thing, on this piece of watercolor paper with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiments. It says hello, and the other one says, well, hurry up and stamp it so I can remember. The other one says, I think of you often. Do you get like this? Do you make a card and then you're like, what did I do? If you make videos, let me know. But between when you made the card and when you do voiceover, do you sometimes forget? Here I wanted to show you this cool trick that my friend Amanda over at Rise and Procrastinate, she showed the other day in a video. I will have that linked below because it's where I got the inspiration to get all inky. And anyway, she sprayed the back of her watercolor paper, and it sticks to the mat. It sticks to your glass mat, like doesn't move. I was like, what? So what I'm doing here is making a complete mess. But because she did that card, I wanted to get all like dirty and messy. And I will say my fingernails are stained because this was so messy. But I'm using some sprays. These are some old sprays by Amuse Studio. They're called Splash. I'm sure they would work very similar to the Distress sprays or any kind of like pigmenty spray that you might have. And then I'm also using the Nouveau Shimmer Powder in Sunset Crochet or Crosset. I'm not sure. It's French, I'm sure. So I'm not sure how to say it. And some water in my spray bottle, and I'm just kind of making a mess. I am gonna make a serious mess. I put it on, I tapped it off, put it on, I tapped it off, I added more water, I did all sorts of stuff. I saved you all that. Then I just dry my panel. If you dry one side of the panel, flip it over, dry the other, like that, back and forth until your panel is dry using your heat gun, you can get a nice flat piece of paper. And then I decided that I wanted more bold color, and this isn't actually, this is not how I planned to make this card when I was thinking about it. But this is what we ended up with, so I'm going to explain that, I guess. So I used 3 color blends here to kind of amp up the color inside of like the aqua, the triangles that are more of this aqua color. I wanted to amp up the color on. I didn't want to do them all, just some of them. And my original plan when I altered my plan to where we are was to do the aqua colors on the one side and then the greens on the other, because the panel reads more aqua on one side and then more green on the other. And then I decided that I didn't want the separation, and I was just gonna color in some aqua triangles on the whole thing and some green ones on the whole thing. And I did like how it turned out. Like I said, this is not the idea that I started with. Then I'm going to use the same 3 color blend that I used for my triangles, and I'm going to go ahead and give these letters a little bit of life. They do have that watercolor, it's not really watercolor, that spray underneath them. It kind of works like an underpainting in watercolor, where you get this like cast of whatever's underneath. And that's really nice about Copic markers, is the translucent nature of them. You can see what's underneath. So here I'm just, coloring it in, leaving a highlight so I can fill it in with my lightest color. So this would be good enough. I mean, if I was making a card and I wanted to get a quick card out, I could have just stopped at the paints that I sprayed on there. They're called splashes. I could have just, left that and then dabbing that off and drying it. That would have been a fine card too. And then coloring in the triangles, well, that would have been fine. And doing just the letters would have been cool too. But, you know, I needed to be extra because this, I don't know, this stamp set has so much to offer. Like, I can think of really cool ways to use this stamp. I'm sure this is going to be kind of a go-to in my collection here. Um, so I'm sure you'll see it plenty more times. So here I'm just deciding that I needed some shadow alongside this strip of triangles. And I guess I was thinking that it would be maybe layered. Like I could have made this a layered card. I could have die cut the hello. I could have cut out the triangle strip and laid it on top and used some foam tape and popped everything up. But I kind of wanted to do a one layer card. Um, and see if I could make it look like it had dimension. So I did go pretty deep. I think I went all the way to a C8 for this shadow, which might be a little too dark, but I think in the end it does work out fine. And then because I want to say C4 is drying out, I decided to pull out the C5 and the C3, and I used that to shade my inner triangles because once I had the colored triangles shaded and the shading along the edge, I was like, well, we need some more shading. And then I used, this is the C3, I blended in the C5 out to the C3, and I will use the Zero colorless blender to just kind of disperse that color a little bit further so that it's not, they aren't gray triangles, that you can actually still see the color wash that's underneath them from all that sprays and spritzes. Now you can see like the pops of red and gold and shimmer that's in there from that Nouveau Shimmer Powder, which I think adds kind of a neat texture and a little bit of, I guess, design or detail is, I guess, the word I'm looking for. Gives a little bit more detail. So I am adhering my my one layer card down to a panel. I know. I decided I wanted a little black frame, and because I did use a lot of water on this paper and it wasn't very warped, I still wanted to adhere it down. So here's my card. I'd love to know what you think, and thank you for stopping by. And as I always say, give cards generously. Bye.